being, say, we're very naked with each other.
Oh yeah.
Being naked with each other, even especially with finances, because money is such like a taboo to talk about, especially with finances, is very important. If you can't see all of your partner, it's a dangerous place to be in. So I think if you can, and money is a tricky one. So if you can be, transparent with money, I think other things should fall in place depending on what you're dealing with.
Welcome to Wealth with Love, the place to be. This is the place where we want to showcase the positive side of couples and finances. Money and love make a great team, but usually they get a bad reputation. But what we want to do is to showcase the positive side of it all. And today we have a very special couple who we're going to talk to about a few things, in particular about their journey of building their wealth and their love together, and a very special resource that they have just recently released. And the guests that we have today are Joshua and Bami Komalafe. How are you both doing?
We're well. Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's really nice to be on. We're privileged.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on the show, and I can't wait to jump into what we've got.
So before we even jump into what we've got, we'd love for you guys to tell us about who you are and what you do.
Ladies first.
I'll go first. So I'm Bami. I work as a tech consultant for one of the big four consulting firms, basically involved with technology implementations. But I just like to say I work in tech. That's it. Then I also do like all things productivity. So I do that through like a blog that I have called My Organizer, and then I also help entrepreneurs and small businesses with like their processes and anything organization related.
She's the organized one.
Yeah.
Nice. Hi everyone. My name is Joshua. I am an entrepreneur. I wear quite a few hats, but I like to describe myself by saying I help young adults and young professionals to discover what they're good at, to operate from their best, and to find fulfillment through training and leadership, training and development in the areas of leadership, purpose, public speaking, and branding.
Nice.
That elevator pitch is coming in strong. I'm liking it. No, it's really strong, guys, and it sounds like you're both doing really incredible work in your individual areas, but I'm sure you're also doing it together. Now, how long have you been together, and when did you get married?
So we met in 2017,
Yes.
but like we just knew each other, if that makes sense. Yes. Became friends in like 2018. Did some work together. Did a couple of projects, not just one. A couple of projects together, and then we started talking properly in 2019. Got engaged literally like a few weeks before the pandemic. And
Oh yes, the first pandemic. Yes. Yes. In fact, we got engaged Valentine's Day 2020.
Oh.
Yeah, so we can't forget it. But yeah, 2020, February 2020, and then we got married November 2020. Yeah.
Beautiful. So a very, very, I guess a clear love story there, because you literally met and it was like, yep, this is it. We're not waiting years and years and years. We're going for it. I love that. So you recently released a digital product, which is called 100 Questions Before You Say I Do, which is a resource for couples or soon-to-be couples to have very meaningful conversations, to learn more about each other, particularly, as the title says, before you say I do. It covers a lot of areas, right? So faith, family, finances, and a host of other bits within that. Now, this is a very great resource, and we love this idea, to be honest. And I think I would say all couples need it, whether you are married or not, to be fair, to be frank, because these conversations are deep at any point in time. Now, in your opinion, why do you guys think it's important for couples to have these conversations, especially before marriage?
Should I take this one? I think it started off from the problem. We just noticed that, unfortunately, quite a few marriages around us were failing. we're not experts, by the way, but it was just on observation. Everyone can see. And when you'd either speak to the people involved or you hear about why the marriage broke down, you'd hear things like, oh, essentially, I'd say to myself, and, Bami, this could have been avoided. How can you enter into a marriage and not know that your wife is Muslim and you're Christian, for example? I think that's really strange. So I just thought, they don't understand, beyond the wedding and the hurrah of, oh, we spend on the DJ and, with the pictures and the video, that means people aren't engaging as much as they should. And I think we asked ourselves questions
definitely.
before we got married. So we just thought, look, maybe we just need to have something that people can refer to say, let's do this together. And I think I just remembered now, when we got married, my youngest sister, she got us this card game.
Yeah.
And the card game was really good for us. So asking us questions, what keywords can we have for sex? Just different. It just got us talking. After marriage, it was really good. So that was probably in the back of our minds as well.
And I think in terms of before you get married, I think we went through some very interesting, and to be very honest, like I don't know any of my friends who got married. Even though I don't have many friends, I do actually have quite a few friends that are married now, but I don't know a lot of people that went through the kind of questioning that we did between ourselves. And even when Josh started, I was like, this is a bit much. like, this is a lot. But it's really helped us in terms of a lot of things that we've discussed sets a tone and foundation for our marriage, and it really helped us when we've got into certain crossroads. We were like, oh, but this is what you said at that time, and I was like, well, actually, okay, this is what we said we would do. So it's very important. I thought we went through quite a process. We had a couple of questions that we asked ourselves, and we're like, why not we share this with other people as well?
Yeah. And I think finally I'd add, we've both seen, but in particular, I'd seen my parents have been married for about 25 years before my mom passed. And I just saw love. I saw the way they handled situations. And I just made up my mind that whoever I get married to, I'm very choleric. I'm very, okay, this is where I'm going. So I just always knew that whoever I'd get with, I'd want to go through some processes to make sure that we're on the same wavelength. So yeah, I'll stop talking.
Yeah. So when you were having these discussions, I'm curious to know who between the two of you was like, okay, let's have a chat. I've got some things to ask you. How did that even come about? Because I guess it's easier.
She's pointing to me.
I think definitely Josh, because Josh is he likes to get to know people, and it's kind of just in general the way you work and the things you do. You always want to get to know people, and that comes by questioning. So imagine someone that you're, looking to settle down with, you're going to question them quite a bit. So like I said, I was like, this is a lot. But then after a while, I started to understand why these questions were important, because you start to discover certain things about people, about what the person that you want to be with, and say, okay, maybe this is the way they do it, this is the way I do it. Okay, it's a bit different here. If we're going to go together and become one person, how are we going to do it together? So I think that was definitely Josh initiated it, but I think we started to bounce off each other, started to get the right questions to ask and get answers that really helped us along the journey. So yeah, definitely Josh.
That's really amazing, actually. I love the fact that you took the time to ask the questions, because not a lot of couples, I think, ask the questions like you said before. And I think a lot of the times people are like, oh, we've fallen in love, and then sometimes you're blinded by love, but you still need to have those conversations. They're important. You need to know the person that you're getting married to, or you need to know the person that you're wanting to be in a relationship with. I'd like to know, what were the toughest topics to talk about when you were asking each other those questions?
Ooh. Coincidentally, I'd probably say money.
Right.
Yeah, money. For different reasons. I think I knew that I was as a businessman, I've taken on a lot of risk. I'm very risk prone, and I had some debt, and so I had to make a decision about how honest I wanted to be. And I'd always said, we talk about this. There's a difference between being honest and being transparent. And honesty is when you're asked, you tell the truth. Transparency is you go out of your way to tell the truth. And I've always said, look, I'm not going to hide anything because I wouldn't want to find out in the marriage that it's like, what? You mean you hit this? So I came up front and I was scared that she's doing well in Korea. You know, she's a very strong career woman. I'd always known her to be, and I was scared that she'd see that and run away. So that was quite difficult to be vulnerable and remove all my, hard exterior, so to speak, and just tell her the truth and say, look, I took a step this year, or well, not that year, but at this time in the past, and it didn't work out like I thought. I'm paying this off. I've done this. This is working. This one's not working. So I think that was very interesting.
I think, sorry, I was going to say, definitely as well, learning about like would you call them financial habits,
Yes.
or our mindset towards money? Knowing who likes to enjoy more, who's more, like you said, who is more risk prone, who's more risk averse. I'm the kind of business that just put your money in the bank and let it be, and let's just let's keep holding it. But just like, no, we need to invest it to make this. And and the thing is that, like he said, some things are working, some things may not be working, and the returns that you're getting. So, and then also, this was interesting. I think in terms of like knowing how we like spend money, in terms of like tracking expenses as well. I remember one of the conversations we had around money was, okay, what are your expenses on a monthly basis? And I came with like, before I got married, like you can tell with like my productivity and organization stuff, I've got like my spreadsheets, every amount. I'm just like, this is this is how much I spend on this. Josh came in and was like, yeah, I spend this on Microsoft, I spend this on website, this and that. It was like just like a paragraph. I was like, oh. So yeah, we but understanding that really helped us know like the kind of person that we're dealing with and how we want to go going forward. Thankfully, I brought him to my side. So now we have a budget spreadsheet.
She has a budget spreadsheet.
We have a budget spreadsheet and we discuss things like that now, and we track expenses. So it's that was it's still what God is helping us.
Absolutely.
Also, I think I'll also add as well, because of some of the risks I had taken, my savings were next to none. And she had mutual funds, she had savings. And so I had to drop my ego as a man and say, it's possible she runs away, but I'd prefer that she knows the real me and decides to go ahead than comes in and finds out. I think that's so disingenuous. It's so bad of people. I'm really sorry to say, you know what you're dealing with and you don't reveal that. And then you put that on your spouse and expect them to I don't think that's good. And I think, I believe, and I that was what I used to hook her. I said, look, I believe I'm going to, break through and do well. And when I do break through, as God has started to help us, I can say, look, this person knew me when I was nothing and stood by me, and I'd be willing to, you want to back him back, let's go again.
100%. Easy decision. Yeah. So the thing, Bami, is that I guess there's this stigma, should I say, out there where if you're particularly from like a woman getting married to a man, if the man is quote unquote less successful than you from a financial perspective, which in this case Josh was coming to you saying, I've got this my situation, and your situation is, I guess, far more successful than mine, or far higher or better than mine, and you're looking at that thinking, okay, there is this stigma that's a red flag, run away, this man will not take care of you, XYZ, XYZ. I'm curious to know what was going through your mind when you initially had that like exposure to this whole situation that Joshua mentioned.
I think, and this is where if you're not Christian, it can be difficult for you to go through this and difficult to have a certain mindset. Because when you know this is, the person God has called you to be with, you have peace is a bit of a tricky one, but you've got the conviction, that's the word you should use, conviction, that this is the person. You're able to put certain things in context. That being said, there are people who come to you and they're like, oh, I don't have this, I'm not able to do that, but then they're not trying to even do anything, they're just chilling. So there's also that, but I think the Bible says by the fruit you know them. So you look at the fruit that the person's producing and actually, ask God for guidance, ask Holy Spirit for guidance, and actually discern where, this person is coming from. Because like Josh said, people can be very disingenuous and just, say certain things just to get you. And then you get into the marriage and you're like, wow, this is the actual real color of the person. So you'd see a lot of times when you don't have the Holy Spirit to guide you, it can be a bit of a tricky one. But I think definitely your mind will go, you'd be like, oh, this is not really what I thought it would be like. This is not really what, I thought I would, find. But I think you have to respect that honesty and be like, okay, this person is being genuine with me. This person is saying the actual truth with me. What's the person producing? What fruits is the person producing? And go off that and ask God to guide you. So
yeah, I think I want to mention, because sometimes when we talk about faith, whichever faith for the people that will watch and listen later you're from or of, it sounds blind. It's like turn your senses off, turn your logic off, and just go with faith. And Bami said certain things, which I want to big myself up a bit. When we met in 2017, between then and when we started talking, Bami, we'd been in projects, we'd done projects together. And she'd seen that this guy is, take over from here. So it's no, I'm kidding. She saw that, look, he's driven, he gets results, he knows how to work with people. She'd been in settings, because when we worked together, I didn't think, I was talking to someone else at the time, so my mind was definitely not there. So we'd seen each other in raw states, when I'm annoyed, when I'm frustrated. So she saw the kind of person I was. I believe, is that correct? She'd seen me deliver and seen the kind of vision I have and the kind of person I am. So that made it easier for her to make that decision. So she didn't just by faith, as it might sound, switch off. I think what she's saying is, coupled with the evidence, the fruit that she saw, because the doubt of, will this continue? Is this how the future will actually look like? Or is this just for this moment? So with the fruit that she sees now, she then couples that with her faith to say, do you know what? I'm going to let go and trust that based on what I've seen, this will is that correct?
Yeah. I think you summarized it well, babe.
Nice.
No, I love that so much, and I think what you're saying is testament to the fact that regardless of the position of the person that you're with when you are getting married, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be forever, right? So, and on top of that, I always, we always take the position that you're not getting married to like a spreadsheet, you're getting married to a person. So no matter what, like the budgeting spreadsheet may reveal at that time, the habits can change. We can change the money. We can change that side of things. It's who they are. That's the real bit that matters the most, isn't it? So okay, so we've had these really interesting conversations, I guess, before you get married, before you move in together, and then now that you are obviously fast forward to the present day, now that you've got a couple of years of marriage under your belt, how I'm curious to know if the way you manage money today is what you expected it would be from day one, or if you've actually made some tweaks, because like, okay, it's one thing to say on paper, let's do this. It's another thing to say, okay, you've got this habit, this is not going to work, let's change this, let's change that as you go through it. Have you had any sort of similar experiences in your 2 years of marriage so far?
We're proud to say that we now track finances on the side. We're really working on it and we're getting there. But I think it goes both ways in terms of, definitely Josh is now more like, oh, I spend this on this, I spend this on this, and we're able to say, okay, this is where our money is going. But I think even on myself, so I'm very, like I said, let's keep the money. It's too expensive. Let's not do anything. And Josh is like, no, you need to actually treat yourself. I think that's definitely something that's really helped. And it's not like I don't want to treat myself or we don't have the finances to. My first thing is just, it's expensive. Like first thing, I'm just like, no, why is it so expensive? Why do you need to do that? But just like, no, you need to actually treat yourself. You need to actually enjoy the money while it's here, while making like, smart decisions as well. So I think definitely we've seen the way each other work. I mean, I think we complement each other in that sense, in knowing, when I'm about to be like, oh no, let's just relax, let's not do this, let's not invest in this, just like, no, let's actually go for it and let's do something rather than just staying behind. So things have definitely, I wouldn't say like changed in the sense that we're not our mindset towards money has, evolved is the word I would say. It's not like it's done like a 360, it's evolved. And, we're one now, so we know how we want to operate, not just as individuals.
I think one of the biggest shifts for us has come from the fact that we now understand that making money comes by investing, not saving. So we've gone a step further to say the best kind of investment you can make is in yourself. And so when we invest in ourselves, we can produce things that generate money. So for example, the resource, 100 questions before I say I do, before you say I do, the sales from that, what it took for us to make it. Yes, we put our knowledge together and, it didn't cost much to make, if we're being very honest, but it's a resource. We're selling that and the money's coming through. For example, Thando and Lindy, you say you have a following of 6,000 plus on Instagram. Is that correct?
I think it is 6,000. Yeah.
Yes. So imagine if you made a resource that had something to do with skills, finances and marriage or something, and maybe like a tracker, or I don't know, and of your 6,000 followers, you have their emails, for example, and you put it out and say, look, we've got this resource, £10, engage with it. Of the 6,000, say maybe 3,000 engage with the resource. You've just made £30,000, and what kind of investment? Are you flipping a house? Where are you going to get that kind of money in that go? Yeah. So we just sat down, and that's been the biggest mindset shift for us, that actually, as we invest in ourselves and then create, services, create products, and we market them well, even if you spent, £1,000 rather, marketing, doing it properly. Oh, sorry, you made £29,000. So I think that's been the biggest change. So when Bami says evolve, I think that's what she means. Is that good?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I absolutely love that, because I think sometimes we forget to invest in ourselves, or maybe not forget, but we focus on every other thing and making sure every other thing is good. But sometimes we then don't think, let me invest in myself. Let me do things that benefit me, but then it also benefits us in the long run anyway. And that's such a beautiful thing to actually do. So how would you say that? How do you use money to then enhance your love and your relationship?
I'll take this one. So we go out for dinner.
Yeah.
To be fair, we're quite boring. Well, to most people. Yeah. We don't really. I think our minds are focused. We know that a time will come when, we want to fly first class, go to this place for a month. It won't be an issue. Just, do you want to work in this island next week?
Let's go there.
So I think we're not delusional. Whilst we want to let our hair down, I think we're not as materialistic between ourselves, which has helped, I guess. So we don't do anything great. So one thing that I found about Bami that really surprises me till today, because it's not changed, is the small things make her happy. For example, if I wash the plates, it's like, oh, thank you so much. I'm just like, what? I'm washing the plates tomorrow. So and I'm so grateful, for that. The maintenance levels, it's not been ridiculous. It's not ridiculous, and I think she can say the same for me. I'm not someone that I'm trying to buy clothes. In fact, most, if not all of my suits I had before we got married. So it's not like I'm going out spending all, so, yeah.
But I think we do know the things that we would like to, not that we would like, that we know that we need to spend on, and actually agreeing between ourselves and saying, okay, this is something that we need to do. And it's not like we're, saying, okay, this £1 we cannot go anywhere, we need to do this, we need to do that. But we know when we need to spend, we know when we're doing, like we have checks in place. When we're doing too much, we know we're doing too much. We're like, okay, let's reel it back a bit. But we're not like very like, thankfully we're not people where it's like, oh, buy me gifts today, buy me gifts now, if not I'm not I'm not okay. I'm not really,
new car for my birthday.
We're not really like that, to be honest. So it doesn't, the love definitely isn't dependent on the money.
No. I think, like I said at the beginning, a time will come, and I think people are going to make noise, but I don't care. When the money's there, the proportion that you spend, to some people it's a lot, but that this is actually not that much. So when the time comes and we enjoy ourselves a bit more, but yeah, I think we've just found ways to, we can sit at home, watch, Amazon Prime it is now for us, and just eat popcorn and just say, look, and before we got married, we engaged intellectually. So a lot of our time together, we discuss politics, and it's just fun. You're just spending time with your friend. So she's finally convinced me to go climbing. So we're going to go climbing. So it's the little things for us, honestly. So any way that the money can help, then great. But money or not, it doesn't diminish the. I love you.
Beautiful, guys. Absolutely beautiful. I think in a way you are using your money to enhance your love, but it's kind of, you're using it on your own terms, not necessarily like what the world would ascribe to, as in, buying your wife 50 million bags and shoes and jewelry, etc. It's actually the both of you saying, actually, we love to do this, so let's put our money towards that thing, even if that thing is £5. That's one way to do that, right? It's kind of on a priority level, you're prioritizing your relationship with each other above money, effectively, which is essentially a beautiful place. Yeah. So earlier on, you did touch on faith, and you spoke about faith quite a bit, and it's very clear that your faith as Christians is definitely leading you guys in the way that you do things. How has faith impacted, I guess, the way you view and manage money as a couple together?
I think it's definitely impacted. So just like with any area of your life, faith, it should be a big thing. So not just that, you give God your time, you give God your, your intellect, but you don't give God your money. Like it won't work. So so definitely faith plays a big part in every part of it. And I think there's some very unconventional things that we do that people are like,
okay.
In terms of the way we give, in terms of the way we actually manage our finances. So a lot of people, you'd ask a lot of people, they're like, oh no, my money is my money. His money is our money, or his money is his money. But we actually have a combined pot. So we bring our finances together, and we, say this is what we want to spend on, this is what we want to do, this is how much we want to give, this is how much we want to support. Obviously, things like offerings and tithes, being regular and consistent with that, and giving as we need to church and to other people as well. So it definitely plays a big role. And I think obviously there's also the touchy subject of submission, when people like, that's that's a podcast, that's a different podcast on its own. But I'm just saying that, okay, babe, this is how much I'm bringing in. How do we want to spend it? And discussing that and saying that we're a team, and not just that my money is my money, your money is your money. Because and we all know this, finances is probably one of the biggest things, and how a lot of couples, just crash. And I think, and this is something I think, in like our parents' generations, a lot of the women didn't work. So it was, the man's the provider. So, but now that we've changed, where it's like, we're both working, we're both bringing in money, things are just, I think people don't know how to handle it, so that's why we've really tripped up ourselves. But definitely God is number one. So it's what God says is what we do. When the Bible says submit to your wives, submit to your husbands, husbands love your wives. Submitting is not just, it's definitely not, kneeling down and saying, my husband, please take this food now. But there's definitely it encapsulates every part of your life as well. So yeah.
I think again, someone might be watching or listening and thinking this submission thing again. And there was a scripture that really helped us understand the relationship between submission and I have to say this, in honor of my lovely wife. She does every month say, hey babe, my money's coming now, I've been paid. What should I do with it? Where should we put it? And of course we've budgeted to say, okay, this will go here, this will go there. But the scripture, I'll paraphrase, basically says it wasn't robbery if Jesus Christ was God, basically. If he called himself God, it's not a lie because he is God, as we believe. But he thought it of no robbery and, says, I'm going to submit to God, his Father. And because of what he did, the Bible says that he receives a name that's higher or greater than any other name. So it's a reciprocal cycle where Bami says, look, this is what I've made. These are my savings. This is me. And as a good leader, I say, thank you for bringing this to me. I'm not going to abuse this position. And then sit down with her and say, actually, how do we spend this? And so at home, in bringing that cycle back, Bami, can say, I think we should do this. And I say, okay, that's fine. Rarely do I say, no, I'm the man. I must stand up and, So that's just brought a lot of peace for us.
Yeah.
And anytime we reach a loggerhead, Bami says, okay, your decision's final. And that brings peace. And when she does that, I transfer it back and say, you know what do you want? Because as a smart man, you want peace in your home. So that it's just been refreshing for us. And, it's just helped. What Bami said about the giving earlier, we had to get to a point where we said, we don't want the money to take hold of us. We want to be in charge of our money. So let it never be that, we're in a position where we feel, oh my God, I can't live, and we honor God. Sometimes we get instructions in our relationship together and with God to say, okay, help this person. Sometimes it's not comfortable for us, but we just say, look, we want to be people that you can trust, Lord. And I think that's the crux of it, really.
No, I love that. I feel like, when it comes to giving is a beautiful thing. And sometimes, when we say people are like, but you can't just give all your money and stuff. But I'm like, no, giving is actually a very powerful thing. And it's a very beautiful thing. So to us, when God is saying give, okay, Lord, you've spoken and we are giving. So I completely get you guys when it comes to that. So I guess the last question before we do the quick fire questions is, what is one of your most impactful financial wins you've had in your relationship?
I think it's what we mentioned earlier, the change of mindset. That as we invest in ourselves, we can produce at a rate that no other kind of investment can. So I'll show a different side to that. For example, Bami had this Mac. Oh God, she's had the Mac for several years.
It was still working.
It was breathing. It was not working. And it was clear she needed a new one. And we sat down and I said, look, we should get you a new one. And she's like, no, it's going to cost a lot of money, this and this and this. And I said, look, this is an investment. What kind of things are you going to be able to do now that you have your Mac? I've taught Bami how to use Photoshop and different things that she would do on my laptop. I need my laptop. She's like, yeah, but we can share. I said, no, I need my So we invested in the Mac. And, I can't even, with the stuff that she does with my organizer, a lot of the personal stuff she does it on the Mac, and that's yielded dividends. And we've just come to that place where sometimes we might need to, I'm about to can I say this? I'm about to go on a course personally, or to get some accreditation. And it's like, man, this is money going out again. But we've said, look, we spend this money, but once we go on this journey, what we can get back, So I think that's been the biggest financial win, the mindset change for us, because no matter where we find ourselves, anywhere in the world, I know that what I know, I can always reproduce anywhere. So if I go to whichever, no matter how bad the climate is, I know exactly what I need to do to generate value, and nothing beats that at all.
I think the biggest win from what you guys have said is the fact that you're literally on the same page, or at least working together from the same vantage point regarding your financial decisions. So kudos to you for getting to this stage very, very early on in your marriage. Honestly, it's sweet stuff to see. So we're going to get to the quickfire questions. And just let us know. Don't think. just let us know what your first thought is that came to your head. Do you want to start, or should I start with this one?
I can start us off.
Okay, let's go for
So we do our quickfire questions a bit different. So the first one is titled First Dance. The first dance at a wedding is where newlyweds dance together for the first time as a married couple. At World with Love, when we say first dance, what we want to know is, did you step on each other's toes the first time you started managing money together?
No.
No. Yeah.
No.
No.
No. I think where we was the having to budget every single month. It's like, again? And it's like, babe, I need your time, focus, let's go through this together. But in terms of directions, I think we were.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think, and I'm always going to say this just to get Josh. I think the first couple of months, getting Josh to be like, "Oh, I spent on this, I spent on that."
Oh, good.
But now we're getting there.
It wasn't my style.
I think it's such a process, isn't it?
It's a
Like,
process.
I spent this, and it's a process.
But no, it sounds like you were dancing to the same tune, or at least dancing to the same beat to some degree. So that's good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The toes are not damaged. Next one.
So the next one is cake cutting. So during cake cutting at a wedding, both partners cut the cake with one knife together. At World with Love, when we say cake cutting, what we want to know is, what is one thing that's really helped you to work together as a team with money?
I would say God. I would definitely say God, because there's sometimes I say certain things and Josh is like, or he says certain things and I'm like,
when we were talking before marriage, we came up with this thing, and we said we will have 2 referees. Our first referee is Google. So, for example, we're having a discussion and I say, "This is how you pronounce this." Bami says, "No, you say it like this." And we say, "Do you know what? Let's go to Google and press the speaker. We'll find out what." So he said, "Oh, Belanto. Oh, okay. I was wrong." End of discussion. And the second one is the Bible for us. We believe in the validity of the Bible, the scriptures completely, every single aspect. So when there's an area of our lives, we just refer. And what it does is it liberates us both, because I don't need to feel like I'm superimposing myself. She doesn't need to feel like she needs to, trick me into saying, because it's just what's the right way. And, going slightly off topic, that was one thing that really, drew me to her, that she's very, what's the right way? Let's go for the right way. Not, oh, my way, I'm the woman. No, women always get the, what's the right way? I think.
Powerful.
Yeah. So agreeing on the referees. So when we have challenges, okay, let's go to our referee. What does yellow card, my bad.
I love that. I love that so much. I love that.
So the third question is, we titled it Bouquet Toss. So this is where the bride tosses her bouquet over her head, and whoever catches the bouquet is supposedly the next person to walk down the aisle. At World with Love, when we say bouquet toss, what we want to know is, what top tip would you give other couples who aspire to build their wealth and their love together?
That's a big one.
That's it. I would say personally, bring your finances together. Because it's very easy. And in all fairness, this comes from a place of trust. But then, if you don't trust the person that you're married to, then we
Yeah.
probably have a big problem underneath. But I think definitely bring it together because it's there's this saying, not the saying, but there's this phrase that someone in church uses, being saying we're very naked with each other.
Oh yeah.
Being naked with each other, even especially with finances, because money is such a, like a taboo to talk about, especially with finances, is very important. If you can't see all of your partner, it's a dangerous place to be in. So I think if you can, and money is a tricky one. So if you can be, transparent with money, I think other things should fall in place depending on what you're dealing with. But I think definitely bring it together. That's the thing I would say. And it's very, in this world and culture that we're in, that's not what it's saying for couples to do. You need to move past that noise. Just move past it.
I would say there are certain principles that govern not just marriage but life. And if you can understand the different principles, so within marriage, there's a principle for finances, as Bami mentioned, there's principle for intimacy, which is different from the principles of sex. Many people don't even know that, when you study from people that have gone ahead, I think that's been one of the biggest things for us, going to people or reading their books, people that have had to, what did you do? How did you, read a book on sex before we got married? And that helped our expectations. Man, thank God. Understand the principles that govern the various areas of marriage.
Love that. So the next one is honeymoon. Honeymoon is a holiday taken by newlyweds immediately or soon after they get married to celebrate the marriage. At Walk with Love, when we say honeymoon, what we want to know is, what is one money habit, mindset, skill, or something that you love the most about your partner?
Oh.
What do you? I'm joking.
You go first.
I just spoke, so I don't want to talk too much.
Look at you. I think apart from, I think Josh's mindset towards money has really helped me because I would say that money was a big thing for me personally before I got married, and not just letting the money control you and just working so much that you have the money and then you're holding and then what you do with it and then die and then that's it. You're not going to take the money with you. So making sure that you're actually enjoying and treating yourself. And I think definitely a lot of the times, and just like random fact, a lot of times when just actually impose that this is what we're going to do with our finances, it's because of me, in the sense of, no, you're going to do this. No, you're going to get the MacBook. No, you're going to go out and enjoy yourself. No, you're going to treat yourself. So I think that that's definitely something that that's definitely something. It sounds a bit selfish, to be honest, because it's benefiting me, but yeah, that's it.
Thank you. I think the thing I love best about Bami when it comes to money is you don't always have to spend. She's taught me to get things done.
That's true.
I'm very much okay. Let's go to the people that do this thing. Let's give them the money, get them to do it, and she's very hands-on. Very, let's figure this out. And I've just seen that over and over again. And sometimes there's a great meal on the table, and it's like, oh yeah, I went to Aldi, went to didn't necessarily, I'm just giving an analogy, didn't go to the the Marks and Spencers or the, where else is expensive? Waitrose, yes. And it's like, but you still produce this, and that to me has been fascinating to observe. I still told her a few days ago, when she started my organizer, I said, oh yeah, you need to get a website, use, Squarespace, pay £200 for the year and this, and she looked at me, I was like, okay. And she found a way to do it for free and achieved the same aims, and I said to her, I said, if she didn't do that, I would have never believed this was possible. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned. So now, before I do something, I think to myself, is there a way around this? Is there legally, of course? is what else can I do to get this result without thinking money first? Buy, because many times I've spent and realized I didn't even need the thing in the first place, But yeah, thank you.
With you, I think we could go on for another hour or two, to be honest, because there's so many other things I could unpack from what you guys have shared. But just before we wrap up, just tell us a little bit about yourselves in terms of where people can find you if they want to get in touch or if they want to connect with you and learn more about what you offer as a couple.
Okay. I'm very simple. Instagram is probably the best place to contact me. My Instagram is Ayobami. So it's @Ayobami.
Do you want to spell Ayobami?
AYOBAMI. I spell my name. And then my organizer as well. So that's @myorganizer with an underscore after the R. That's me. You?
Sweet. If you go on my website, www. our website, joshuakomolafe.com. That's kilo. Wow. Kilo. KOMOLAFE.com. And Instagram. In fact, all social medias is Joshua_Komolafe.
Awesome. So, no, thank you so much, Joshua and Bami.
Thank you for all you're doing. I think money is probably one of, if not the biggest area in marriage that people really struggle. And I think we both think this is great what you do. And we know that there's more to come from Wealth and Love and Skill Finances. And we're looking forward to, how you impact several people in this time. And it's an honor to have been on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.